Okay, welcome back to the podcast. We're going to recap week 6 of week 12. It's Monday, so we can talk about the full week and the weekend like we normally do. First things first, we're going to talk about the weight.
I'm the realist.
My weight has actually gone back up. I was 220 last week. I'm 221 this week, and I'll get into why my weight went back up.
I am 152. I was 153 last week. So, yep.
I started the week at 204.1 after a really bad weekend. And I ended the week at 199.7, so under 200 pounds. What?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm still cruising at 243.
Hey, do me a favor and kill that air conditioning unit.
He reminds me of sadness. You know the emotions?
Oh, from
And I'm still 243.
yeah, so your weight's just steady.
Yeah.
It's just steady across the
I think it's just gonna stay where it's at. I'm
Well,
Sonic and
my best thing is like that. I'm just doing maintenance calories right now.
yeah, but your progress is getting a lot better in the gym. So you're still seeing progress. It may not be on the scale, but you're definitely making forward
Yeah.
progress. We'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, so now let's talk about the diet. So my diet has changed. I'm no longer intermittent fasting. We talked about that last week, but also the big difference between this week and last week was because I stopped intermittent fasting the week before last. I started adding chicken into my diet for dinner. I started eating after my workout was 10 to 12 ounces of chicken. So my weight went from 218 to 220. Well, this week I'm 221. That's because I'm carb cycling. So what ended up happening. So I'm getting around 215 carbohydrates on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, I'm getting 150. Saturday, I'm getting 100. And then Sunday, I'm getting 500. So my carbs are up and down. So my body retains water a little bit differently right now than what it normally does. Because normally I could watch the scale come down every single day throughout the week until the weekend hits. Then I carb load and then I come down. Well, now since I'm kind of fluctuating up and down, my weight's kind of like moving around. So I know I'm just holding on to more glue. I know I didn't gain a pound of fat. Just it didn't happen. So I know that's the biggest issue. And I'm actually changing it up this week too. I'm actually going to be going from 2 pounds of red meat a day to 3 pounds of chicken a day, and I'm still including the dinner. So I'm adding a whole another 100 grams of protein to my diet. So instead of only being 250 grams of protein a day, I'm going to go up to 350. Some people say that's excessive. You don't need that. That's too much. That's not necessary. But I know whenever I get between 400 to 500 grams of protein a day, my recovery is a lot better. I feel better. My workouts are a lot harder. You could say there's an argument out there where you could be like, well, that's just expensive carbohydrates because your body converts that to glucose and then so it just metabolizes over to carbohydrates. So you might as well eat carbohydrates because it's cheaper and it's easier to eat and blah, 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 blah. But the whole concept is it's not amino acids. And this way I'm in a constant nitro positive balance for amino acids. So when my body needs amino acids, it's 100% there, and there's no guess if it's going to be there or not. Plus, if it does convert over to glucose and carbohydrate, it does it at such a slow rate, it's not going to convert into fat, and I'll burn that off before it has a chance to turn into fat. So, because last year I was doing 500 grams of protein a day for about 3 months, and I got to say, like, my strength and my muscle mass was significantly better for recovery and overall in the gym. Like I look better, I felt better and everything else. So I'm just going to just kind of rock out higher protein. I'm going to slowly inch my way back up to about 400 or 500 grams of protein and bring my carbs up over the course of the next couple months and stuff. So that's kind of what's going on. So I have a plan of what I'm going to be doing the next couple of months to come, but this is just the beginning of the next couple of however long. I know we're on a 12-week thing here, but like I said, I'm making adjustments as I feel I need it. I'm not like dogma and gridlocked into like, well, this is a 12-week program, so I have to run. No, I feel like I make audibles. If I feel like something needs to change, I'm going to change according to what I'm needing and stuff. So long rant there about what's going on. But for everyone who's been following along and curious of like, oh, what's this fatty doing? That's what I'm doing.
I'm doing the same. So, well, not as him, but like as all the other weeks, if you've been watching, I do chicken and grits.
Yeah, so you do 2 packs of grits per meal.
One.
So you do 20 carbohydrates per meal, so you're getting 80 carbohydrates throughout the day, and you do roughly around 6 ounces of chicken per meal, which is somewhere around that amount of protein.
Yep, that one.
Oh, yeah, it's around that protein. Depends on what food label you read is how much protein that is, but you're getting close to your body weight, little under your body weight in protein, and you're getting probably less than half of your body weight in carbs, but it's enough energy for you, and it's
Plus,
working
I
for
have
you.
coffee, and that there's carbs in there too. So
Right. But it's working for you. You're losing weight and you feel good, and you're having good workouts for it and
Right.
stuff like that. But that's what you've been steadily doing 4 times a day, grits and chicken.
Yep.
Okay. Just to clarify for those of you wondering.
So I think am I on week 2 or week 3 of intermittent fasting?
This should be week 2. Well, no, actually, no.
Okay.
You should have started it. This Monday was, I think, your first official week, or was it last Monday?
I think it was the last one.
Okay, so
yeah,
this
but
would be
you were
week 2.
sick, so it didn't really.
Yeah,
count,
so I never had quite a solid week of it because I got sick on Tuesday, and then the rest of my week just
So
downhill.
you attempted to start it the week before last, but because you got ill, it
Yeah,
kind of delayed.
yeah.
It's not that you went overboard and you ate bad. It's just you weren't able to fully
Oh,
do
I
the
was
diet.
eating like nothing.
Right.
So yeah. So I do my eating between like 7 and 3, which my meals are pretty much the same. So breakfast is coffee, 2 packages of grits, 1 cup of egg whites, and then my next 2 meals are I switched from the chicken because that's in my head what made me sick. It probably wasn't, but I switched over to ground turkey and rice, and then my last meal is 6-ounce sirloin with 5 asparagus spears.
Yeah, and that's consistent throughout the week. And then what do you do on the weekends? Because you're okay.
I
Real quick.
wall out.
Okay, let me back up to you because that's what you do Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
So what do you do Saturday, Sunday?
whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
But I still really like watch what I'm doing because like self-consciously I don't want to lose all my progress.
Okay, do you calorie count? Do you
No.
you don't keep an eye, like you just eat until you're content and that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did calorie count because you had said try to stay at 2,000. Don't
Yes.
go over 2,000. So I was checking everything before I ate it. I meant to write it all down to log it, and I just didn't. But
I don't even think I get 2,000 calories. to be
neither
honest.
Saturday probably would have been my closest day to 2,000, and then Sunday I really only ate twice. But my second meal was like a huge Jersey Mike's sandwich, and I normally eat half and then eat the other half later, and I like mowed that whole thing down because why not? Bread, right? And then I was miserable. So yeah, so it was a fun weekend, and I was so happy because my weight has been under 200 pounds for 3 days solid. But this morning I was like 201.5, and I was like, I'm not even going to
because
say
you
that
were-
number out loud because it was all that freaking bread I ate. So now I'm just like bloated and
You
But that,
rewarded yourself with that Pizookie too. That's what took you.
okay, so but that's the thing, because those carbs are going to burn off, and
that's why I
and
said I'm
thing
not
is-
even tripping about it.
Right, you're gonna be in a deficit throughout the week because you're on a very strict amount of carbohydrates Monday through Friday. Your body depletes the glucose in the muscle tissue, so it's like a gas tank running low in a car. So when Saturday, Sunday rolls around, all you're doing is restoring all the carbohydrates in the muscle cells. It's not turning into fat, and it's not converting to fat. What's happening is it's flooding the muscle mass, and it's like refilling and volumizing the muscle with water and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are 2-part water. So for every 1 gram, you get 2 grams of water. So the water weight that you get when you're depleted on carbohydrates is massive when you reintroduce them, especially on the weekend. You flood them with simple carbs, with fluids. So that's not something. In fact, if your weight didn't go up, then it would be more alarming. So if you're down, like for instance, for me, because I'm a much larger person than you, and I have a lot more muscle mass. So like, whenever I do the intermittent fasting with the carb cycling, my weight's going to be down about 8 to 10 pounds come the weekend. And then whenever I load those carbohydrates, I'm going to be up anything between 8 to 12 pounds on Monday.
Yeah.
Then my weight's going to come back down around 8 to 12 pounds by the weekend, if not a little bit more, normally always by 1 or 2 pounds under. So there's always going to be a spike on Monday, Tuesday. And if you don't see that spike, it means your body's not storing that glucose in the muscles and something else is going on. So then it'll be kind of like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So your body's doing what it's supposed to do. So don't stress that, because come this weekend, your weight's going to be down and you're going to be like, man, that's so crazy that I ate the way I ate. But still, like you're doing, keep it at 2,000, because you're 1,500 calories Monday through Friday. So you're allowed to go over 500 Saturday, Sunday,
me.
but in the form of carbohydrates. You don't want to get protein and fats. You want to get it in the form of carbohydrates, so it goes into the muscle and stuff like that, and it just fills you up. Then you get better workouts and you get better, pumps in the gym, and you just get more energy in the gym too. So, but good job on that.
Thanks.
How was
Yeah, I'm still rocking the same thing again. Just red meat and rice.
Monday through Friday?
Yep. And weekends, I kind of just do whatever, but basically like what you were doing before, try to stay around 3,000 or under. So it just kind of like more like free range snack, but it keeps me from overeating because like
Auto regulating.
yeah, but I find like different things like those stupid little rice cake things. I never liked them before, but they're so delicious now.
Yeah, it's amazing what tastes good when you're hungry.
I love
Yeah.
rice cakes. I like
I
to
like
put peanut
those.
butter on
Yeah,
them.
they
Yeah.
like I had them a long time ago, and it just tasted like a bland rice cake. And now they got that apple cinnamon one.
I was
and
just gonna say
I
apple
just-
cinnamon.
It's
The
like
chocolate one.
16 of them's 100 calories, and it's like freaking 30 something carbs. I'm like, 16.
Eat them like a bag of chips.
Yeah, so what I did for the weekends, because I didn't really talk on that, like we went to Sam's and I found out. So I was doing a 3-pound pack at Sam's of ground meat, the 93.7, and it was right at $17 for 3 pounds. And I looked over at the turkey, and the turkey's under $16 for 5 pounds. And I looked at the chicken's like $9.50 for 3 pounds. I looked at the backs of them, all the nutritional values exactly the same. I was just kind of like, So I was like, well, I'm gonna switch to ground chicken because it's the exact same macronutrients,
And like half the price.
right? So
or
I could get a whole extra pound because I'm basically doing a little over $5 a day for like per pound for a pound of it's a little over $5 for 1 pound of red meat. So if I do 2 pounds of red meat, it's a little over it's around 10 something. So now I'm doing under $10 for 3 pounds instead of $10 for 2 pounds of red meat. So I'm just like, yeah, I get more protein.
Math.
So I went down on my carbs to 100 on Saturday, stuck to my diet pretty much all day, and then Sunday same thing. But I decided to get the 500 carbohydrates and kind of start this weekend. So what I ended up doing was to get my carbs because it was kind of really difficult to eat that amount of volume, which I don't normally ever have a problem eating food because I'm kind of a fatty, but this weekend was a little difficult. So in order to get my carbohydrates, what I did was I just drank lemonade, blueberry lemonade with every meal until I totaled out with each meal. So it's like 200 grams of carbs for my rice. And then we had pho, that was my cheat meal. And then I got 100 grams of carbohydrates from rice noodles. And then the rest of the other 200 carbohydrates came from blueberry lemonade with each meal that I drank and some crackers and stuff. And that's how I got my 500. And actually, I came in under a little 500. I wasn't able to fully finish it. And then I took a smoothie. I had a smoothie from Smoothie King and stuff like that. And that's what put me like right there at 500 and everything. But it was just really difficult for me to eat this weekend. So let's
I was
move.
really long about diets.
Yeah,
The
well,
same.
we just want to cover. We're not hiding anything or sugarcoating. Okay,
You
next
might
topic.
eat that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next topic is hunger. Mine, none. I'm actually overly full, so it was very difficult to eat this whole week, and even Saturday when my carbs were low. Don't know why it's been so hard for me to eat, but I've been bloated and super like gassy both ways, and it's just been really brutal for me, and
Me
it just
too.
absolutely zero hunger, none at all.
Mondays aren't too bad for me on hunger because I don't know why they're not. It's usually about Wednesday or Thursdays when I really start to struggle. But
Fridays are the worst.
yes, because it's like like tomorrow,
You're
I just gotta
so
make it till
close
tomorrow.
to freedom. Mhm.
And I don't really feel like I was not hungry this weekend either. Like I probably underate this weekend honestly, but I'm not gonna eat if I'm not hungry. Like so I really didn't do bad either. Saturday, what did I have Saturday? We're gonna be here
I
a while
don't
if I
even
keep
know.
remembering.
I don't.
Oh, I had a little bit of French fries,
French
and
fries.
I had a new coffee from Dutch Bros. Cookie butter was delicious, and then I think that was it. Did I eat when I came home?
I don't know because I was doing my diet. I wasn't paying attention to what you're
You
eating.
should start paying attention.
Well,
to
surely
me.
you did because the only thing you ate were French fries when we
No,
were out. But
Well, we kind of already covered the topic.
Well,
so
you're
let's
talking
go
about
to-
hunger, so I was
I
saying I
know.
wasn't even really hungry Saturday or Sunday, which is weird because usually I'm like really excited because I want to eat a bunch of things. So I don't know. Maybe there is something going on this week with you, me.
Yeah, I mean, a stomach bug. So how was your hunger? You said Friday was pretty bad.
Friday was really bad. Thursday, for the most part, Mondays, by the time I get home and shower, it's like a decent time to go to bed. So I just go to bed. Tuesdays, after Bible study, I get home. I'm not late, but 9-ish. So same thing, rinse off, go to bed. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't have anything after workout. So those days get a little tricky because I have more downtime at home. So I usually make my daughter play some kind of board game with me or the solitaire game. I'm like, we got to do something because I can't go to bed at 7:30, although I might because I'm so hungry.
Yeah, the
It's,
distraction.
it's more of the thought that I can't eat
Mm-hmm.
than I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's such a stupid mental thing whenever you're like, I can't have this versus like, well, I can, I just don't want to. Well, I could eat that right now if I wanted to, but versus I can't have that. I can't have that. And it's so
Yeah.
hard to remember that you can eat it if you wanted to. You're just choosing not to when you're in that mindset of hunger. It's so hard to flip that switch. It's so much easier said than done. But
Especially
just-
when she's sitting in front of me, like eating cereal, and I'm just like, if I just slapped her really hard right now, she couldn't eat cereal anymore. But you know,
So she
like
does.
laws against that or whatever.
yeah, dang those child abuse laws. Well, how's your hunger going?
Last week I had a little bit of hunger like start to creep in, but again it's very mild and doesn't really bother me still. I haven't had it get like to a really bad point either. But again though, it's one of those things too, like you were saying, like when you have your meals set to a certain time every day, you get in that mindset of like thinking like I can't have sort of thing, and then having like a weekend, you get to the weekend and you're like, oh yeah, I'm excited, like the weekend I kind of get to do what I want, and then it comes to the weekend and you're like, yeah, I'll eat eventually.
Yeah,
Because
it's
you know
weird.
like you have all the options, nothing's like not available that you could want, so you're just like
It's like
I'll get to it.
it's like going to a restaurant hungry, but the restaurant is like a 6-page menu.
It's a cheesecake
and you're
factory.
like, yes. How do I pick? I kept saying that, like I was gonna get lunch
you
Sunday maybe, and I was just like, I don't.
so you
I
start
can have
getting
anything.
you start getting FOMO, the fear of missing out, and you're afraid to pick something because you're afraid of missing out. Then it almost makes you just be like, well, if I don't even know what to eat, I might as well just stick to my diet,
Well,
right? But here's what you do. Here's what I do. Whenever the week goes on and I start getting cravings, I just put it in my phone in my notes. So when the weekend comes around, all the little fun things I wanted to eat whenever I'm doing that type of dieting Monday through Friday, then I have to like overload on something on Saturday, Sunday, I put all those little fun things in my phone. So it's just kind of like, okay, well, oh, this sounds good. This sounds good. And then what I'll do is I'll go to the store, and when I go to the store, I'll look at my phone and be like, okay, no, definitely, no, definitely. And I'll buy the ones that I want. And half the time I buy them, bring them home, I totally forget to even eat them. So it's just kind of like, oh no, because you're so hungry all week, but then when you eat that first meal, because like whatever it is, normally you bloat from it, and your
Yes, and I
bloat goes
hate
away.
that.
Yeah, your bloat goes away Monday through Friday, so you feel hungry and deprived. But as soon as you eat your first thing and you bloat real bad, you're like, and I'm good, and then you don't even want to eat again until late in the evening, or maybe 7-8 hours later, and then you eat one more thing and you bloat so bad, you're
Same.
like, I'm good. And Sunday rolls around, you're still feeling the effects from the bloat from Saturday, that it makes it even harder to eat on Sunday, and you're just like, I don't even really want to honestly eat any of this stuff. So it's like a double-edged sword, because you're supposed to eat a little bit more, but it makes it harder to eat because of
Yes.
choices that you eat. That's
Which
like, well,
is
why don't you
crazy.
just stick to your diet? It's like, because it's a mental thing, and
Yeah.
like you're not training for a competition or a show or a bodybuilding. You're just trying to lose overall weight, and so you could get away with doing this stuff. And as long as you're losing 1 to 3 pounds a week, it's okay to have that freedom and that joy and that little bit of, like, reward. Because I know that's the biggest thing for me when I do intermittent fasting and I do restrictive dieting Monday through Friday with intermittent fasting Saturday, Sunday. I always lose 1 to 2 pounds, sometimes 3, and I can enjoy myself. So, okay, I think that's going to cover this 18 minutes worth of talking about that. So let's transition to what the video is titled about, comparison, the thief of joy. Let's get into that. So, I guess I'll kick this off. So it's a double-edged sword, depends on where you land, right? So I think a lot of people can look at it negatively or positively. So if you start comparing yourself to like your results, and you're like, look at where I've come from and look at what I've done, positive comparison, right? If you start looking
Hopefully.
if you start looking at somebody else and you're like, look how much faster they did it than me. Look how much better they look. Or look how much leaner. Or look at this or look at that. And then you start picking yourself apart. And then it's a negative way, not that motivates you, where it actually crushes your spirit. Just like, what's the point of even doing it? They did it in such a faster time and they look so much better. That's a negative comparison, right? So that's the form of thief of joy. Then you have the positive kind where you can do that, and you can be like, okay, I'm going to push harder to look like them. They might have done it faster, but it's okay, because it's a time game, and I'm going to get there. And when I get there, I'll have my own image that people are going to look up to me for inspiration and for motivation and stuff like that. So it's one of those things, like, it depends on how you view it. And I think I'm guilty of both ways, right? Sometimes I'll look at my old photos and be like, yes. And other times I'm just like, I should be further along. I should be bigger. I should be leaner. I should look better. And I think I'm more on the negative side of the comparison and stuff like that. Because, like, I think comparison is the thief of joy unless you compare yourself to like your results and you crush your results, and it's just like,
I did
yes,
it.
yeah. So where are y'all stance on that? You want to go in a row or just kind of free talk on it?
I definitely do the comparison, even to myself. Even when I compare, okay, where 6 weeks ago where I started was like 207, 208. I finally got under 200 pounds like consistently. But I'm like, that's only like 8 pounds.
Yeah, but how long have you been doing it?
6 weeks.
And that's how many?
What?
8 pounds in 6
Yeah.
weeks. So that's over 1 pound a week.
But I feel like,
You should be more.
yes.
Right. But then if you think about the long run, if you continue to lose 1 pound a week in a year, that's 54 pounds.
Yeah.
52 pounds. I'm sorry. That's
I want to
52
lose.
pounds.
I want to lose 52 pounds in the next like 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Get that sunk in, malnourished. Like, this is healthy.
Yes.
See
you
how
get it.
loose my skin is now? This is
You
healthy.
get it.
Don't
You
forget too,
get
at the
it.
beginning you weren't like super dieting either. Like the first.
No,
2
I
weeks.
really wasn't. That's a good
So-
point too.
For how much pounds you lost?
I was
for-
able. I bought. If I see a shirt out that I like a Halloween shirt or whatever, like normally I wear extra large, and I was like, no, I'm gonna buy them in larges because the point is to like move down the scale. And I was able to wear like 2 of my new shirts this week, so I was like, okay,
See, that's
cool.
That's a good comparison.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's a good comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the clothes I was wearing when I was a fatty, fee fatty, versus a now nice, slender, fit. So, like I said, that's a good comparison and stuff. So, whenever you have those opportunities to be able to see little wins like that, that's a great comparison. But it's hard though whenever you see other people making these big leaps and strides, especially whenever you're a competitive mindset. See, my problem is I'm super competitive. So I'm like, well, he did it in 8 weeks. How come I couldn't do it in 4 weeks? So, but like I said, it's one of those things like I want it like now. I know it's a wrong type of mindset to have because if you could do it right now, then it wouldn't be
Everybody would
impressive.
do it.
It wouldn't be impressive,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It wouldn't be impressive. So the harder you work, the harder it is to earn it, the more respect and the more I think gratitude goes into it and everything. So
Yeah.
what about you? Do you find yourself ever comparing or finding yourself ever looking around being like, or yeah?
Like comparing myself to like others, not particularly. No, like it's just like we've worked out together for years or whatever, and I've never really strived to be like I got to get better than him. I just
I do.
I like working. Like I enjoy working out, so I work out with you, and it keeps me like having like even though we don't work out together doing the exact same things a lot of the times. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But just having somebody in there kind of keeps me more like, well, they're gonna be there, I gotta be there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Keeps you accountable.
Yeah, but like as far as going like, man, like why aren't my results coming along as fast or whatever? Like they'll come when they come. Like it doesn't really affect me like that. I guess could say I compare myself to what I was at, I guess a little bit, and I don't want to go back to that. So that kind of keeps me, I guess, been more in
Motivated, yeah.
line. But outside of that, it's not really like I'm not a big like competitive kind of thing
Right.
like you are. That's definitely not my mindset in any way.
You actually helped me with that. Something he said made me think about that. Like I'll watch what dumbbells you're using sometimes, and I'm like, gosh, she's on 20s. Like I only got to 17 and a half. Okay, I'm gonna do it again, and I'll have the 20s, and I'm like, oh god, no,
Push
no.
it, I'm
Oh my god, going back to 17s. But I do sometimes. I'll kind of eyeball like what you're lifting or whatnot, and I'm like, oh, but I can.
I do what I
do
can,
that.
fam.
So I appreciate you.
No, I mainly compare myself to myself, really. I don't compare myself to others because what others are doing doesn't change anything I'm doing. So that's not really my mindset. Mine is myself. And I think I'm like a really bad critic of myself. Like when I
everybody is,
critique
for
myself to myself in the beginning, it's never like a
That's not true.
positive.
Oh.
I'm always like, man, like you said, like I should be further than this. Like
Yeah. So
still fat. Like
yeah.
Right.
Well, okay. So for me, my biggest thing was whenever I was competing in powerlifting, which hopefully I can compete again. I'm trying. I'm possibly looking at competing in powerlifting again. Okay, regardless of how pitiful my numbers are, guys, you're gonna have to give me a break. Like that's not powerful. I know, but it's fine. Okay, so my biggest thing was like whenever I was like healthy and I didn't have injuries, I looked at the like American deadlift record, like 909. I can do that. And I was training hard for it. Like, yeah, I'm going to get that 909 and to hell with the squat, to hell with the bench. I don't care if I bench and squat, diddly squat, right? I want that American deadlift record. That's what, because that was my niche, man. I love the deadlift. It's just something primal. It's heavy. Just I'm going to pick it up. Me pick big thing up, put down, right? So it's just something primal and just caveman like about it. So for me, I was always comparing myself to like, what are these guys doing that are causing them to get so far ahead and leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else? So it's not like I was trying to copy and paste their routines and their programs. I just like enjoy listening, and then each one of them does everything so completely different from the next, and it just shows you there's so many different roads to get to the same path. So it doesn't matter what this guy does or this guy does or this guy does or this guy does or this guy does. The only common denominator is they all really 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 wanted it. That's the only common ground, is they weren't looking at him like, oh, he's doing this program, I have, well, I have to. None of them were on each other's programs, but they all somehow got to the same place,
Same goal.
because the biggest issue between all of them, the number one common denominator, was they all really, really wanted it. So a lot of times it's not your programming and your dieting, it's your passion and your drive and how hard you're willing to go. So if you're comparing your program to their program, that's not the problem. It's how much drive and how much heart do you have to push yourself to that point of like, this sucks really bad and I'm hurting and I'm sore and I'm tired. Anyone who says you don't have to get sore to win and you don't have to push yourself hard and you don't have to go past failure and you don't have to push yourself to that point, they've probably never won anything in their life. I'm sorry. But like anyone that's ever said like, oh, you shouldn't be sore for 3 days after you work out. Where's your trophies? What have you won? What places and what have you competed in? Show me your trophies and your records.
Yeah.
If not, shut up. Well, I was looking at the science and the scientific side, but okay, no. What have you done? What injuries have you done and what have you come back from? I'm coming back from a complete pec tear. And I'm going to try to compete again, right? I'm going to see what I can do. I may not be able to do what I used to do, but I'm going to try. So it's one of those things that's like, what have you done that should make me listen to you? Because
what gives you a leg to stand on?
honestly, like I said, at the end of the day, you can compare program to program, diet to diet, person to person. But the only thing that really matters is how bad do you want it and how long are you willing to suffer for it? How long are you willing to hurt for it? How long are you willing to be hungry for it? Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. You can compare yourself to every single program and person out there, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which one you get on. The one you're going to work the hardest on is the one that you're going to go the furthest on. So whenever I was competing, my biggest issue was, I don't care. I like to watch the programs. I like to watch what they're doing and everything else. But my biggest thing was like, how much heart does this guy have? How much drive does he have? Where's the intensity at? Let me look in his eyes while he's lifting and let me see where that anger is coming from. And I don't mean anger like, oh, I'm mad because my boss yelled at me, but just that raw rage of just like, I'm going to do something that's going to hurt real bad for a duration of time. But when I get done, I'm going to be able to sit here and say I did something that the majority of the population not only can't do, but is not willing to do for whatever reasons they don't want to. So I think that's the big thing for me, is a competitive comparison of like what they were doing. Because like, I don't care who was at the local meets. I was just going because I was just had to work my way through the ranks and stuff like that. Not that I was ever a good power lifter, but still. And then it stopped me from dreaming of being like, why can't I be great like them? Why can't I? I just thought, I'm never going to be good like them. I'm never going to be great like them. Whenever I was younger and wanted to do bodybuilding, I didn't look at local guys or pro shows. I'm Mr. Olympia. That's what I want. The top, Mr. Olympia. Is it a far-fetched dream? Yeah, absolutely. But that's the strive. It's like, why settle for mediocre? If you want to do it to be the absolute best. If you're gonna open up a company, or you're gonna open up a company and be like, well, I sure hope that I just barely make it afloat and I can
Yeah.
barely pay my employees, or do you want to flourish and have good income and be able to pay your employees and give good raises and have a luxurious life because you own a company, right? Or are you just gonna, just barely get past that? Oh man, we're about to have to close the doors, guys. Like anything you do in this life, you should be driven. And the comparison is what's going to either kill you or make you. And depends on what you compare yourself to.
Well, that's why I say I don't like to compare myself to others, because at the end of the day, I don't really know what they're doing. They could tell me I'm doing this, I'm doing that, this is what I'm doing, but I don't really
Smoke
know
and
what they're
mirrors.
doing.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's what they're actually eating. I'm not there to watch them at all times of the day. I don't know what they're taking.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to compare yourself because we're not the same person. We're not doing the same exact thing. So there's no comparison.
Right. Exactly. And like they might like, and that's the thing too, a lot of these Instagram people and a lot of these social media people, they don't put the full truth up. They don't put the full story up. They don't put everything out there, and they don't show the mess ups and the mistakes.
Well, yeah, because
and,
that wouldn't get followers, right?
right. And
Yeah.
they don't show like the down times and the negative times and the moments where they're tired and exhausted and worn out and feeling beat up and just like, blah. They don't show that stuff because they don't want to come off of anything less than perfection. Right. So, and I get that they have an image, they want to hold that image, but like being realistic, like I'm trying to be relatable. Like I want to be relatable. Like, look, is it fun to pull heavy weights off the ground and deadlift and squat? No, it hurts. Like even 250 pounds is heavy on your back. That shit hurts. Like I don't care. It hurts. It's heavy. It feels bad. It's not enjoyable. But you know what? It's going to make me better, and I'm going to keep pushing to get better till that 250 doesn't feel like much on my back. Which even whenever I was squatting like in the high 400s, 250 always still felt heavy. I mean, even whenever I was deadlifting in the mid fives for reps, 300 still felt heavy off the floor. Like I don't care. The 300 pounds is still a lot of weight,
It's a lot of
regardless if
weight.
it's on your back or on the floor. And then I could deadlift 600, but 300 still felt heavy. It's not a matter like, okay, well, like this is going to feel light eventually. And if you're 1,000-pound squatter, then yeah, more than likely 250 is probably not going to feel like nothing on your back. But for the average person who's like in the like 400 or 500s, it's still, you feel it. You feel it on your back. Unless you're so thick, meaty, and juicy.
I feel any amount of weight. Like, I'm not saying it's heavy, but you can still tell there's something there. So
Right.
it's like you're always going to.
All right. So I kind of lost my train of thought right there and everything. So, but anyways,
What? Not you.
yeah,
Off topic, straying
yeah.
around.
like, do you have any like, for instances for like your comparison? Have you noticed you compared yourself to anyone of lately since you started this whole thing, or have you noticed you've been looking on the social media or anything, or saw anyone in public at Walmart at anywhere like you haven't had any like, one day or only if.
I mean, as much as the next guy, I've never been one to look at other people like that because I am who I am. Take it or leave it. I think I told y'all that one of the first times we hung out that was my summer body, and I'd never work out. And look at me now. So
me.
We can't
now.
take you for your word. Got it.
that's
got it.
right. That I'm untrustworthy. So no, I don't do that. Okay, like my daughter and I went and got donuts Saturday morning because I wanted some Shipleys. And in the line, I was like, okay, they see me in the drive-thru and they're like, well, of course she's here to get donuts. Look at her, right? And I was like, I can't wait to change that image. And that's just me in my head. I don't know what they're thinking, but those are the things I think about. Like when I walked into BJ's, they were like, she ain't here to eat. She's here for that Pizookie. And guess what? That's what I was there for.
So like that's kind of like image perspective, right? So like for me too, like I have that, like it's not so much comparison but like the image perspective. So like for me it's like I'll look at myself sometimes in a shirt when I'm shirtless, and I'll think to myself like, man, you don't even look like a guy who has a home gym like this. You don't look like a guy who's been lifting as long as you've been lifting. You don't look like a guy who's, I forget how I used to look whenever I was massive, and I was 260, 270 up to 290. Now I wasn't like ripped with abs, but I was still massive. I was a massive human being at 6 foot, 290. I was a large human being. But like I said, even then I didn't really realize how big I was. Looking back at pictures and some videos of myself when I was that big, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, you're a pretty large dude. But now I look at myself at 220 and I'm just like, man, if you saw yourself in a crowd, would you even stand out? Would you notice yourself? If you walk by yourself in Walmart, would you be like, oh, that dude's jacked? Oh man, that dude, you could tell he has no life and he just spends a lot of time in the gym. No, you want it. Like, that's how I look at myself. It's like, I want to look the part. Not only am I strong, but I'm also muscularly and fit. Whether I'm in clothes, it's winter, it's summer, I'm at the beach, I'm just walking through the mall or the store. I want to look the way that I feel like I should for what I do. And I don't feel like I do. But that's also because, like I said, whenever I got injured, not to beat a dead horse, but I went through a little massive amount of depression. And it's hard because like you could get caught up in your identity with this, and you could become this. This can become you. So it's like, what are you? Oh, I'm a power lifter. Everything I do is around. I wake up to eat, to get ready for the gym. I go to bed early to sleep, to wake up, to eat, to get ready for the gym. What do? I lift. And what do? I lift more. And then I lift more, and I lift heavier to lift more. So it becomes like your personality and who you are. And then when that's like taken away from you in a split moment, it's like, well, I spent all this money on this gym and I invested all this time and all these years into becoming this person. And now it's just gone. Like, now what? Now who am I? What do I do now? So I went through a big point of depression of just kind of like, where do I go from here? So then I got in, like my second hobby is off-roading. And so we got big into off-roading. We bought Jeeps and did a lot of work to them and spent a lot of time on the trails and camping. And that was a lot of fun. But then I just got really fat and sloppy and gross and hairy. And then I just kind of woke up one day.
Hairy.
Yeah. And I just snapped out of it. And I was just kind of like, it's not over, like you can come back from this. And then I just like, let me just start lifting just to lift, because I have this gym and it's stupid to not do it, right? Plus my blood pressure was getting really high. I was feeling like crap all the time. I was always exhausted. So I got in there just for health reasons. And then, like I said, it just flipped a switch and it just hit me real heavy again. Just like, okay, yeah, I think I could do this again. So I pulled myself out of that depression, and now it's just kind of like, I see myself, and I didn't care when I was depressed. I could care less what you thought of me and how I look. But now, like, I'm back to that, like, do I look like a person who has this and owns this and has put this much time? No, I don't. And I would like to, when people see me and think like I said earlier,
Like, oh, that guy works out.
yeah, this guy has no life. Like, oh man, he must be
See, but I
boring.
think people do see you and know you work out. I think you're just your worst critic. You don't look like the average person. We've already gone over this before, but you have this image in your head of how you're supposed to look, and anything below that is just you're basic, and that's not the case.
Yeah, I want to look like an absolute unit. An absolute unit. Like, no room for anything else.
Okay.
Well, we know where you stand. Your image is, you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah, like even
Hold on, not to interrupt you. Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. When we go places like water events, when you're younger and you're much more luscious, right? You never would be
More
shirtless.
voluptuous.
You never were shirtless.
younger
But,
in what way?
like a couple years ago.
Like,
Yeah, younger.
like
Younger in what way?
Well, no,
like,
like-
how, what other kind of younger
how
is it?
young? Like you're talking. Like, I was wondering, like how young?
Okay,
whatever.
when-
Because like
when
when I was
you-
a kid,
I said it.
I
when-
was a toothpick when I was a kid.
when I said you're at your most luscious size, like you never would go without clothing. Now that you've lost weight, you're definitely a lot more comfortable, because when you go to water parks and go to the beach and do water events, you take your shirt off and it's something you would have never done previously at your previous weight. And then you saw yourself in some photos, and then you said excuse me. and I did this too to myself. I think we all did. It's never like, yeah, I look good. It's like, ooh, that's not what it looked like in the mirror.
Don't put a hole in the wall.
Okay.
That's what you did about the
okay,
regular
but still,
photos.
but I even felt that way about myself, right? So, but you lost enough weight where you're a lot more comfortable, but then you saw yourself, and then that motivated you, and you compared yourself to where you were, but also there was a hint of comparison for that, because you saw it and you said, yeah, this ain't it. This kind of motivates me to go harder to get to where I want to be.
I'm still not done with moving towards whatever my
Okay,
end
so
goal might
okay,
be.
well, my question. Sorry, I got a little off topic. Okay, my question though. Okay, so you're now more comfortable to take your shirt off. What is it going to take to be able to get you to do a photo shoot in your underwear?
It's never gonna happen.
Okay, but we talked about you being an underwear model for Calvin Klein many times. You said
Y'all
no.
talked about
You
it.
said
Put
to
the
me
y'all on this.
behind doors. You said, "Man, I don't know why, but man, I've always had this dream to be an underwear model for Calvin Klein." And I was just
I've
kind
never
of
even owned any Calvin Klein clothes.
Because you weren't ready to.
don't let him lie to you guys. So my little skimmies that I used to work out in, I go to the beach in. What image would you have to be in order to do a workout in those?
It's not gonna.
No. But okay, I'm not saying like anytime soon. Is there an image that you think you would get to that you could wear those, and then we can like double down on those, and we get baby oil up, all right, and we can
Diddy.
spot each other, all right? Yeah, that little Diddy action. Think about how glistening, the grossness that would be going on in that video.
I'm gonna not be there for that.
Oh, you're gonna record it. Oh, it'd be so gross. No, there's not an image.
I'll do it, babe.
I know y'all two will. You know what? Maybe next week.
Stay tuned. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. If y'all want to see a whole lot of pale grossness, guys, we got it for all of you. So it's a no. It's a no on the underwear shoot.
He's like, it's a no for me,
no.
dog.
I've gotten a little, like, I'd say yes, I got a little more comfortable with, say, going to like a water event and not having a shirt on. But again, it's still something new or whatever. Like even when I was younger though, like I wore a shirt when I was younger, like, and I was a skinny kid, whatever. It's just, it's not really like, it's never really been my thing.
Well, I know that. So like I said, even just for you to take your shirt off, because I've known you, we've known each other since we've been
I do it all the time.
Oh, I know you do. You get a little wild out there. It's like, put your shirt on in public. You're like, why?
Hey, the titties. It's October.
Yeah. Yeah. Booby aware month. Booby awareness month.
There you go. You almost had it.
Almost had it. Okay, so yeah, but when we were younger, again, like, I agree with you. You never took your shirt off. You were never like big into like being even you sleep with your clothes on, so you don't sleep shirtless and stuff like that. You sleep fully dressed, which is kind of restrictive to me and just a big no.
It's comfortable. I've tried sleeping.
I can't do that. My arms fall asleep.
I've tried sleeping naked before,
My
and
arms,
that's
I can't sleep with this thing on. So
tried sleeping naked, and it just feels super awkward and weird.
I mean, I'll go
It's like,
camping in the
nope,
mountains.
this isn't right. Like, it just feels not right.
I have that fear of like the house gonna be burned down. I'm right out there, booty
No,
naked.
I'll be camping in the mountains in the middle of the winter, booty naked in my tent. I just sprawled out, got my little buddy heater on. Just anyone comes up in that tent, they're gonna get a surprise. Like, what? It's like, hey, comfort is king. We're in the
We're
mountains.
gonna get a lot of comments. So where do y'all camp?
Right.
All over the place. So, but yeah, no, like I said, so it's a big step for you to be comfortable enough now, especially how you used to look to how you look now, to be able to go shirtless, and that's a huge confidence boost, and that it makes you feel good knowing like, hey, you know, I may not be the prettiest one here, but I'm not the worst looking one here. To be able to be confident, to be able to show a little bit more skin
I
than
feel like
usual.
that goes, but in ways of like even now, like I mean, I've been married to you for so long, but I still feel better now, like not having clothes on in front of you than I did before. And
When you just recently, all the weight you just lost. We're
Right,
not
right.
talking about 16 years of marriage. Just recently, when she was at her bigger size, where you just
I
came
didn't
down
realize
from.
how much it bothered me until like I wasn't anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how much I would like hide myself without like noticing I was doing it.
Oh, I did. I always notice. You always had your hand across your stomach, or you always had like any like you always. I was very like mindful of
Oh,
it.
I know.
And then she, bless her heart, looked like a little squirrel packing acorns in her cheeks
You
for the
still
winter. I said you. I said-
Look at you.
well, but I'm saying not no more though.
I'm just pinching him under the table, guys. It's fine.
yeah. Stop. Ow, stop. Anyways,
In front of my friends.
yeah, you embarrass me in front of all my friends and
friends.
followers.
All three of
They
them.
need to know I'm cool. No, no, but you've lost a lot of weight, and you can see it in your face big time. Like your face is a lot more slender and everything.
So
than
no
it used to be.
acorns anymore.
Yeah, you're not smuggling acorns anymore for the winter.
That's
Digging into
funny
the holes.
because I said I can't wait to get rid of my double chin tan line. See it?
Oh yeah, I sure do. Well, it's not really a tan line. It's just like red, white, red.
Okay.
Because you're like,
Almost
hell.
patriotic. Let me punch you.
Well, you're a ginger, right? You're.
I feel like we know what I meant.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit more specific here. Not Pacific.
Like
all right?
the ocean.
You don't want to be like Atlantic about it?
No,
or?
Pacific. I'm going to
Okay.
be Pacific.
Okay, let's be Pacific, guys.
Like the ocean. Well, that's because you don't tan. You just kind of burn and
I
turn
can't
red.
wait to get rid of the double chin line, the double
Yeah,
chin period.
like the chin strap. Yeah. Yeah, it's
you
gonna be,
little cheese.
and here's a kicker too. It's overall weight loss. So your whole body, like in it, and here's
You
the
said
thing:
butthole, I'm not like
your body,
It came out that way.
your body is going to take it from wherever you don't care first. So like my body was just kind of like, oh, you want it from your stomach, so which I think most people do.
Sure.
But my body was like, I'm going to take it from the back of your ears, from your neck, from your head. I had a lot of head wrinkles. I look like what's that dog? A Shar-Pei?
Shar-Pei.
I look like a Shar-Pei. The back of my head was so wrinkly. My face was super fat and chubby. I didn't realize how much more full my face looked and
Was.
bloated with water retention. It was
Often.
so fat.
I notice a slight difference in my boobs. I'm like, leave the boobs alone. Come
Yeah.
on, they're fun.
That's where most women actually start noticing the major weight loss at first.
Always. Anytime I've lost weight, I always notice it there.
Yeah. So like I said, my body was taking it from everywhere but my stomach. But now I'm finally lean enough where my body doesn't really have a whole lot of options anymore. And I've noticed it's been taking a lot from my stomach. Even though I've increased my food, I still notice that a lot of it's coming off my belly and everything. So I'm finally I'm lean enough. So I don't know
So
if it's
you're
just super
saying
hard
there's a
work.
chance.
Well, going back to powerlifting requires a lot of ab strength. So you're flexing your abs, and almost everything you do is in a position that requires your abs. And everything you do, you flex your abs. So it's a lot of strain on the stomach and the midsection. So I don't know how much that's contributing versus just I'm finally lean enough for my body. It's just like, oh, let's just take it from
Well, I
here.
guess
finally.
we'll go here now. Yeah.
Well, this fatty
Yeah.
doesn't care anymore about coming off of, so let's just go ahead and give it to him.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how that works and everything. But
straight up topic here.
yes,
I'm
we are.
skilly. That's-
Yes, we
Hey,
are.
all relatable things.
Yeah, all relatable things. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think we really hit a whole lot on that comparison thing, but I think
we
we talked
did.
enough about it.
Yeah, we're good.
Seems like
Because we're coming up on 40.
the general consensus seemed to be comparing to ourselves.
Yeah, and I think that's a healthier way to go about it. I think it can become unhealthy if you start comparing yourself too much to two other, because like what you said, you don't really know what these people are doing behind closed doors. They are only letting you see what they want you to see. They're not showing you all the ugly. Like we talk about our mess ups, like last week we gained weight, this week, and we screwed up real bad last week, this week.
Yeah.
So like I said, we don't hide it and lie about it and try to act like we're perfect, because we're not. I mean, we're doing our best to be able to get to where we
Speak
want.
for
But
yourself.
this is
What's
also
to say?
this also goes back to what we talked about last week on the podcast when it goes to finding a reason to plug all the holes in your plan, like having a competing and having something to push for, like a competition. But like I said, so unless you're doing something like that, there's no reason to take it that extreme. I mean, you should still be able to have a life while doing this.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a life while doing this, like you're not going to continue to do it. It's just you're going to hit a wall, you're going to get burnt out, and you're going to be like, I'm done. There's no point.
I get
Yeah.
like that sometimes, anyways, and I just have to like not care. Like
Yeah, like
last
every
week-
Friday.
No,
Oh, I need
but
this
like-
diet.
Well, like last week.
I just want a beer.
That's why I had to start adding in snacks in the evening. I was just like, I'm just like getting to that point, and
Yeah, I ate
need-
like 2 apple slices Friday
Wow,
night.
I could tell.
I know.
I could tell.
I did. But here I am admitting my mess up.
Hey, but apple slices are great compared to the alternative, you know.
Like,
Because I was staring at the peach rings.
I mean, it's still fruit.
I was staring at the peach ring. Hey now.
Oh, boy.
Don't make it
Can
about
I
that.
get a hey now? Hey now. I'll
like-
give it.
No one.
Hey now.
Oh, you're on your own there, buddy pal. All right, tell us.
Hey,
Anna.
now.
Are you delusional right now?
What?
It's okay. Come on, Tal. It's 45 minutes.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Is there anything else you want
I
to
mean,
add?
Richard just hasn't been quiet this whole time, so I'm not really sure if he has anything left to say in him. So,
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet this go
like
around.
he's doing his nervous smile. Look at him. Let's just everybody just look at everybody. Look at him.
Okay, well, I don't know how informative or how educational this podcast was, guys, but
we had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope you guys will join us next week whenever we put out another one. Putting one out every Saturday, trying to. Thanks for watching, and for those of you who subscribed to our last podcast, hey, thanks guys, we appreciate that. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here, and see you next time.
Peace.